Enough is enough!
I warn you that we will not continue with this indulgence. We will not continue with this patience. I hereby warn that there will not be 100 years to moon, but that there is an appropriate retaliation.
Al-Baqi! Al-Baqi!
بذلك الأنفس نطلب جميع الشيعة لبيك يا حسين not to be
Look at them shivering. Look at them shivering. They're closing the gates. They're closing the gates. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. They're trembling. They're cowards. That's who they are.
Congregated here to voice our rejection and our opposition
to the tyrannical Saudi regime. This regime that continues to oppress the Shia of Ahlul Bayt, blessings be upon them, and this ideology, this terroristic ideology that the regime houses and founded is indeed a dangerous ideology, and that its causes and its consequences will be a source of suffering in this world today. We have been having a pattern along these years, Shias of Ahlul Bayt on this day, which commemorates the demolition of sacred ground, a holy garden of Baqi, which houses the most purest of bodies. The most purest of bodies. Our noble Imams, blessings be upon them. They have demolished in their desecration to these graves, and they have pained each and every heart that is a lover of Muhammad and a lover of Islam and a follower of this peaceful religion which they are free from. They do not resemble Islam. They are not representative of Islam. The only religion that is truly representative to the Islamic values and morals are the Shias of Ahlul Bayt, the Rafida. Let us be clear. The Shias, only the Rafida. The Shias have, throughout these years, campaigned and tried to voice this oppression that befell them 99 years ago. 99 years ago. They have launched social media campaigns. They have launched TV campaigns. They have launched protests around the world, as you see today. They have launched
officials, they have spoken to parliamentarians, but to no avail. All attempts to secure
a verdict to rebuild this sacred ground has come to fail. We have now hit the 99-year mark to this sacrilege. We have now hit the 99-year mark to this desecration, and we shall no longer seek a resort that is to no avail. I hereby warn the Saudi Arabian government that there will not be 100 years to moon, but that there is an appropriate retaliation. There shall be an appropriate retaliation to their sacrilege and to their desecration. We will not remain silent. We will not allow them to step on our wounds, for we are not people of violence. We are known to be peaceful people. We are known, and our history speaks to us and speaks to the gentlemen who have gathered here in plain terms. For our sheets is painstakingly white from terrorism and from violence and from oppression and from injustice. For our history is shining as the sun. It is them whose history is as dark as their faces.
Murders!
It is them whose history is shedded with blood and drenched with blood. For if one opens the history books of the Saudi Arabian government, if one opens the history books of the Saudi Arabian government, they shall find the blood of Shia on their pages. For they have slaughtered us, they have killed us. Read about the history of Karbala, when they attacked the holy shrine of Karbala and caused a massacre like no other. I warn Khalid bin Mandar, listen to me, you hound, listen to me, you dog. Go back to your master and tell him that the Shi'as of Ahlul Bayt, the Shi'as of Ahlul Bayt will no longer be calm and will no longer remain patient. We have given you this last chance.
Enough is
And I
enough.
warn you that we will not continue with this indulgence. We will not continue with this patience, for you have hit the nerve. We will not be a witness to 100 years to moon without an appropriate retaliation to this sacrilege. And I warn you that none of you is safe. Yes, none of you are safe. Nor your government buildings, not your government properties, not your people or officials. None is safe from the damnation and wrath of God. For remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala often works through men. I warn you to return to your senses, for you are facing an enemy that you have no energy, no power to seize nor stop. You are facing the followers of Ali. You are facing the followers of that man who cut the spine of your mother Aisha. You are facing that man, all the followers of that man who is a symbol of bravery and courage, and we are his followers and hold his name. Today, I warn and give this as a last resort to this sacrilege. Rebuild the graves of A'immat Al-Baqi. Rebuild the Al-Baqi cemetery. Free the prisoners of the Shia such as Mutrib al-Shimri to stop and cease this oppression that continues to the family of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and their followers. For you have given this last warning. Your properties are no longer safe. If you want to vandalize, for we can also do so. If you want to do these actions, then indeed actions have retaliations. Violence begets more violence. We are not people of violence, as we said, but we are facing an enemy so cruel that is willing to step on each and every right that humanity reveres. I say today that we are followers of those who are Abu Abdullah Sadiq. Our sixth Imam, blessings be upon him, says, فَإِذَا جَاءَ أَمْرُنَا نُزِعَ الْخَوْفِ من قلوب شيعتنا وأسكنه قلوب عدونا فأحدهم أمضى من سنان وأجرى من ليث يطعن عدوه برمحه ويضربه بسيفه ويدوسه بقدمه. الله أكبر الله أكبر يا محمد 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 يا محمد. Our Imam Abu Abdullah Sadiq, blessings be upon him, says, and if our matter rises, fear would be removed from the hearts of our Shia. There will be no Shia that is afraid. There will be no Shia that is cowardly. There will be no Shia that lacks bravery or courage. He says, fear would be removed from the hearts of our Shia and cast it upon the hearts of our enemies. Each one of them, each and every Shia amongst you, and the believers who are watching us from around the globe, each one from them would be sharper than a blade, braver than a lion, thrusting his spear into his enemies, striking with his sword and stomping the enemy with his foot. This is indeed who we are against oppression and tyranny. For one can't have peace without battle and war. One has to fight the enemies of war or the enemies of peace to establish peace and order. Our Imam Al-Hasan Al-Askari, blessings be upon him, says, وَشِيعَةُ عَلِيٍّ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ هُمُ الَّذِينَ لَا يُبَالُونَ في سبيل الله أوقع الموت عليهم أم وقعوا على الموت. The Shias of Ali, listen to me, their brothers, listen to me please. The Shias of Ali are those who do not care whether death is upon them or they are upon death. For you can throw to us your largest armies, you can throw to us your largest mountains of iron, for by Allah we will cut through it and we will establish peace and order and fight your terroristic ideology. For to establish peace, one must fight the enemies of peace to establish order. And I conclude with this. Our Imam, blessings be upon him, says, a man from the Shia would be equivalent to 40. His heart would be fiercer and tougher than iron. If they were to face the mountains of iron, they shall cut through it with their swords, and their swords would not rest until God, the Almighty, is pleased. I conclude this speech today. I conclude this word today, and I want the world to hear this. I want every Shia to pay attention and heed to what I'm saying. Do not be a witness
of 100
to the moon of 100 years passing upon the sacrilege and demolition of the cemetery of Baqi. Do not be silent. You are no longer weak. You are no longer in a state of weakness, for you are superior. You are a master of your own. You are the Shias of Ali, to which you hold the honor of carrying his name. We today shout our rejection and shout with the harshest of terms our opposition to the Saudi Arabian government and this hound that sits down in his embassy as a coward. Go back to your master today and you run back to him and you tell this bloodthirsty clown Mohammed bin Salman to go back to his senses. For you have legitimized obscenity and sordidness in the lands of Saudi Arabia, in the most holiest of lands. In Medina you have made clubs. In Medina you have made dancing clubs with alcohol and women. You have made out of the holy land a mockery. But what harm does it do to you if you were to rebuild a sacred ground to which Muslims hold and revere? What harm is it for you? What do you have to lose? We are no threat to you. We are no threat to your power or your reign. We do not wish and we do not challenge you in your rule, but we do rather, and what we hope for is for you to come back to your senses. Honor the Shia, and we want our shrines built. For as we said, violence begets more violence.
Establish peace and order We must fight the enemies of peace.
نعم نعم للبقيع.
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 كلا كلا آل سعود.
كلا كلا آل سعود.
كلا كلا آل سعود.
كلا كلا آل سعود.
أعز الله يا أوغاد.
آل سعود يا أوغاد.
إحنا لكم بالمرصاد.
إحنا لكم بالمرصاد.
آل سعود يا أوغاد.
آل سعود يا أوغاد.
إحنا لكم بالمرصاد.
إحنا لكم بالمرصاد. We say now this proclamation,
and we finally end and conclude this segment out of our protest. You have 1 year. You have 1 year to issue a verdict rebuilding the sacred ground of Al-Baqi, this holy garden. You rebuild it. You seize and stop your oppression towards the Shias of Ahlul Bayt. You free Mutrib al-Shimri, and you allow and permit the Shias to be free in your lands. Otherwise there will be a retaliation to which you are the causes of. This won't go without consequence. And I shout from here, concluding my speech, rebuild Al-Baqi! Rebuild Al-Baqi! Rebuild Al-Baqi! Rebuild Al-Baqi! Rebuild Al-Baqi! Rebuild Al-Baqi! Rebuild Al-Baqi!
بذلك الأنفس، وهذا مطلب جميع الشيعة. لبيك يا حسين، لبيك يا حسين، لبيك يا حسين، لبيك يا حسين. Get down and go off this embassy like not to be on. لعن الله عمر، لعن الله عمر،
لعن الله عائشة.
لعن الله عمر،
لعن الله عمر.
لعن الله عمر،
لعن الله عمر.
هو من قال هجر،
هو من قال هجر.
لعن الله عمر.
لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي،
لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي، لبيك يا مهدي. سجوننا، سجونكم مليئة بأبنائنا، اخرجوهم يا مجرمين. مطرب الشمري، مطرب الشمري، تشيع اعتقلتموه، والشيعة حتى الموت لآل سعود، الموت لآل سعود.
Look at them shivering. Look at them shivering. They're closing the gates. They're closing the gates. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them in peace. Look at them. They are afraid.
جبناء بدأوا يسدون البيبان.
Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. They're shivering. Little cowards. That's who they are.
It's just one. It's just one. You are scared. Coward.